What's going on, guys? This is MrTeej66 Movie Reviews. I am Mr. Teej. Today's movie review is 2001's Jeepers Creepers. Now, I bought the 2-disc set, as you can see, with the first and second film. Hopefully I'll get to the second film someday, but for today I'm concentrating on the first film because the third film is going to be released actually only for one day. Actually, I believe 2 days in the cinemas. Today, September 26th, and October 4th. And because there's been a lot of protests, because it's fairly common knowledge by now, but I'll just go ahead and get it out of the way for anyone who doesn't know. The writer-director Victor Salva, who's done all 3 Jeepers Creepers films, is a convicted child molester. He had an affair with a 12-year-old boy on the set of the 1988 horror film he directed, Clown House. He was caught, tried, and convicted, and he served his time in prison, and he's been trying to make films ever since, and a lot of people, won't support his films because of his crimes. Very understandable. I won't ever argue with anyone who doesn't, but for me personally, he served his time in jail. He's got to live with it for the rest of his life, so I just let bygones be bygones and move on. But this is a very solid creature feature. It's about these 2 kids, Trish and Derry, who are driving down the Florida countryside, I believe it is, and they encounter a van, and there's some kind of guy creature in it, and he's throwing bodies down a well, and that's really all I want to say, because probably the first 40 minutes of this movie is the best part of the movie. The suspense is just built up so gradually. There's a shot I may never forget where they're driving past, the creeper, that's what he's called, and he just looks at them, and it's just this long shot, and he just stares at them. It's one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. The suspense is very well maintained. What's going on? They find bodies at the bottom of this well, and all the hell starts to break loose. Now, a lot of people say as it goes on, it starts to, degenerate a little bit and become silly. I don't really think it does. I think it's still, it's entertaining. There's still some very creepy parts to the movie. The acting is pretty good from Justin Long and Gina Phillips are the brother and sister, and they have a wonderful dynamic together. Just their back and forth is just fantastic. Like, you care about them. It's rare in these kind of horror films where I actually kind of care about the characters. They're not necessarily complex, characters, but, they're likable, and our sympathies are just with them immediately, at least for me. The creeper design is also very good. It's a combination. If I had to come up with a description, it's like kind of like a gargoyle meets a hobo, like some drunk on the street or something. I don't know. It's just always what I see when I think of it. Some great stunts. There's kind of a ridiculous part where he jumps over a car. Like, she tries to run him off the road, and he just, leaps in the air and, almost seems to run in the air. It's fairly ridiculous, but not really scary, but it's memorable. Hey, and, that's the thing. Do I remember it after all these years? And I do. It also has a wonderful sense of humor to itself, sometimes demented. There's a part where, he picks up a decapitated head, and, pulls the tongue out. It looks like he starts to make out with this disembodied head. It's just huh? Am I supposed to be laughing or grossed out? And you're kind of both at the same time. So, there's some wonderful homages. Mostly, his truck looks like a truck from the 1971 Steven Spielberg film Duel, which hopefully I'll get to someday. Where the movie really starts to lose me is when the psychic woman shows up. There's a big psychic woman who sort of she's played throughout the film, and she comes into it and in the final 20 minutes, and her acting is just awful. That woman, I'm sure she's a very nice person in real life, but her acting is just atrocious. It's not good. And she starts to explain what the creeper is. The explanation for what the creeper is, or for why he's doing all this, why he's running people off the road, is kind of silly. You really don't need an explanation. It just, all these horror films today need to stop doing that. Sometimes what you don't know is scarier than anything that you do know. It just, once again, because the first half of this film, you don't know what the creeper is, and it's much more terrifying than, knowing exactly what he is. So, cut that out. It's ridiculous. I do have to give credit to the end, though. The end of this movie is fantastic. A lot of people hate the ending, but I'm going to go ahead and spoil it anyway, because basically he kidnaps the brother, and he actually takes the brother away, and, basically gets away with it. He kills the brother, and, you know, a lot of people say, oh, it's stupid, and I give Victor Salva a huge amount of credit. It's a very un-Hollywood way to end the movie. Like, no, evil won. You know, good doesn't always triumph over evil. It just doesn't frickin' happen, you know? So, major props to him for that. Overall, you know, this movie's better than I think a lot of people give it credit for. It's not a flawless film, certainly. The creature design is fantastic, you know. The musical score is very effective. It's produced by Francis Ford Coppola, of all people. Like, I did not see that coming, but I would give this movie probably a 7.3. You know, it's a very solid ride. You know, if you know what you're expecting, it's not high art or anything, but, you know, it's a great old-fashioned creature feature. Definitely give it a chance, but hopefully I will be reviewing Jeepers Creepers 2 in the next few days, and hopefully, if I can find the time and money, I'll be going to see Jeepers Creepers 3. But anyway, that's my short review of Jeepers Creepers. This is MrTeej66, and I will see you next time.